So I think I accidentally dropped this one the first time because me and my homie started watching Fairy Tail when I was in the middle of it. So I'm glad I spun back because Tanya the Evil actually ended up being a pretty good ass show. I watched a few shows with war arcs in them, but I haven't really watched a show that's central theme is war. So this was actually a pretty unique experience. And funny, let's not forget funny. This show offers one of my favorite kinds of funny, which is the dark and fucked up kind, which I really enjoy and I always welcome. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is a whole ass isekai technically, and that's wild because this is nothing like the numerous isekai anime that I've watched. And I think that's really cool. So keeping it plain today, pull up a chair and let's chop it up. We're going to be analyzing and reviewing Tanya the Evil, aka War Crime Simulator, aka Chronicles of a War Criminal. But before we get into it, as always, hit the like and subscribe button for more anime analysis and review videos just like this one. Also hit the notification bell for future uploads. So, now we do things around here. First, we start off with the story. Like I said in the beginning, this was a really unique experience for me since I don't know about the inner workings of war, nor was I very interested in learning it, but Tanya the Evil had an interesting depiction of it, and it added a few supernatural elements and a subplot, and it ended up really making a really good story out of it. Our story follows 203 Block's finest baby savage, young war criminal herself, Tanya. In her past life, she was a corporate businessman with an extremely logical way of thinking. One day, he fires this guy that missed work without permission, and then later on, that same guy just pushed this nigga onto the train tracks while a train was pulling into the station, killing him. But moments before he died, God stops time, and him and God have a convo, and God eventually finds out that he doesn't even believe in God since he believes in logic so much. And God makes it his mission to make him believe in the next life. So he tries to make his next life hard with minimum interference, quote unquote. So God spawns him as this little orphan girl named Tanya, and her goal is to work up in the ranks in the military and live a peaceful life to prove God wrong in thinking that she needs him. And that's pretty much the basis of the story. The story was really interesting because it's really three things going on at the same time. You got Tanya's journey to work up the ranks and achieve her goal of a peaceful life. You got the current war conflict going on between the Imperial and the surrounding countries. And you got God's plan to get Tanya to believe while really showing how minimum his interference actually is. So there's a lot of factors that go into this story that makes it really easy to keep my attention because all the different goals that everyone's working towards at the same time. I'm not gonna lie, for a nigga to claim that he was gonna have minimum interference, God was so dick riding the whole duration of this show. I'm not gonna lie to you. He kept that one Republic nigga alive. He was in her dreams and shit. He had her ass hallucinating on the battlefield. He even made it so she had to pray every time she used her magic gem just so it wouldn't explode. He could have just barged in while she was taking the shit if he wanted to. He was interfering like a motherfucker. He even made Mary, Folk's daughter, enlist in the army just to get revenge on Tanya. And I'm pretty sure he had a hand in them stopping Tanya from ending the war for good. He definitely wasn't playing fair, but nigga, that's God. Who gonna tell him that he wrong? Well, besides Tanya. Tanya did some filthy shit in this show. But man, it had me cackling, bro. Bro, it's the first episode and these two soldiers disobeyed her orders. It actually helped them during the battle with them disobeying her. But Tanya was like, all right, folk, that's cool. She transferred them to the rear unit from the front lines. And then they ended up getting artillery strikes. When her second in command, Victoria, came to tell her the news, she was like, I already know, gangster. Letting off the most diabolical grin I'd seen. She predicted that the opposition was going to bomb that exact spot. Folks, she basically sent their ass over there to the O with a GDN Forever shirt on with the trays pre-cracked. Set them up for complete failure. That's vile, evil as hell, but she funny as fuck. I mean, ask her battalion, gang. When she was getting her little group together, she rained down practice artillery shells on them for 36 hours straight. Side note, I like how Victoria was already digging her hole while she was talking because she already knew what the vibes was. Well, she done worked with Tanya crazy ass long enough to know what she on. But the insane part about this, when a nigga tried to block one of them shits, he got his ass kablooey. She was like, my fault, gang. I might have accidentally put some live rounds in there too. Bro, you went out your way to do this, bro? You dead ass? You crazy as hell. It makes it worse that she's extremely smart. When they pulled up on Dakia, there's an agreement in the war treaty saying that you have to issue a warning to evacuate citizens to avoid innocent lives perishing. And she issued this warning. She used the most childish voice ever because she's very young. And she did it and made it seem like it was a prank and nobody believed her. So she was like, fuck it. And we warned them and proceeded to blow that bitch down knowing that innocent people was gonna die. Bro, that shit is wild as hell. And that's not even the only time she did this. In one of the last sequences, it was a few remaining majors pulling back to evacuate the rebel citizens in the area. But HQ was gonna send artillery shells once they knew all the majors was dead. So she seen them escorting them out. She was talking to her battalion like, hey gang, They said they gonna blow this bitch down. I'm not gonna argue with them niggas. Kill those mages. Knowing that these artillery strikes is about to kill thousands of innocent people. Granted, the higher-ups are worse people. The fact that Tanya didn't even flinch giving the order is really some twisted shit. And I love every single moment of this sick shit. That shit was so funny. They did Tanya filthy at the end, though. I'm not gonna lie. They made her ass look crazy, and then everything she said that was gonna happen came true. And now they're at war with damn near the whole world. Shit, the United States even getting involved. So now she's further and further away from the peaceful life she wanted to live. They did the story extremely well, and I'm extremely excited to check out the movie to see what happens next. Great job on the story for this one. Let's move on to characters and character interactions. They actually had some pretty cool ass characters in the show outside of Tanya. So let's talk about her and a few others. Tanya funny as hell, gang. She one of the most manipulative and evil motherfuckers I've seen in anime. And it's a unique perspective that I haven't seen in anime that I've watched so far. I haven't seen it that much. She's really good at it too, because she might have fooled me. I actually genuinely think that she's growing to like her battalion. And if not her battalion, she's at least taking a liking to Victoria. She shows it very little, but I think she actually values her as a friend. Tanya started off the show as a sick, demented, evil, twisted little girl that was gonna get her peaceful life no matter who she had to stab in the back or betray. And she still kind of is like that, but I think she actually values a few people, even though it seems like she has an ulterior motive. She's insane, but she definitely got some mental fortitude too with her stubborn ass, cause man, I would have just believed in God at that point. To still have the goal of disproving God after all of that is really crazy, but it takes some mental toughness to still be that confident in it. Tanya was an amazing MC. I really liked her. I really love Tanya. Victoria was cool as hell too. She was the more lighthearted part of the show, which is insane when you thinking about it, because she was part of those very war crimes that was committed in this show. She was just super positive throughout this whole thing, and she always had Tanya's back. She was actually the one that knew Tanya the best, and I think that she knows, although it's barely there, Tanya actually got a heart under all that wickedness and savagery. Victoria was a really fun character that helped lighten the mood in this otherwise really dark-ass show. I really like Rurugan. He definitely did not like Tanya ass at first, but he respected her ability and intellect the entire time. Unlike her higher-ups though, who only value her until they got their so-called victory. He actually heard her out after they thought the battle was won. And by the end of the show, he actually grown to actually level with her and actually put faith in her. I like how much progression he ended up getting. They did the characters really well in this show, and I'm super excited to see them all in the movie and see whoever new they got to introduce. I really want to see Mary as well. Now let's move on to looks, presentation, and music. I'm not gonna lie, the show looks really good, especially from a studio called Nut. I'm sorry. The fight scenes truthfully look amazing. And just like in Lycra's recoil case, not all but most of the combat is actually pretty much done with firearms. But this one has an advantage because it's on a bigger war scale. The big battles look phenomenal, really reminiscent of stuff like Attack on Titan, the fight for Trost and shit like that. And that's some real good shit to look like, so good job, Nut. The music's really good too. It got the whole Medal of Honor, OG Call of Duty, Mission Failed music type beat, but it doesn't sound generic, which is pretty cool, so great job on that. And also, I really like all of the intro and ending themes, so great job, all the artists that worked on those. Overall, I think Tanya the Evil was just another great show. I know I said this a couple times, but I'm genuinely excited about the movie, in the sense that it's probably going to be my next video that might be coming out a day after this one drops. That's how good this show is, and that's how interested I am in seeing what happens next. If you like shows like Attack on Titan or like Kabaneri, I think this show fits right in with those. And I think that's really crazy because this is an isekai technically. This is a pretty unique ass show, and I think anybody can get enjoyment out of this, so go check it out. But that's all for me, man. As always, man, have a great day. Love y'all, man. Peace. Nah, gang, this movie was heat for sure. They really upped the scale on everything, and I do mean everything. The battles feel really grand. The fights themselves look better. The final battle was phenomenal. And they even threw in an extremely disrespectful scene in there that I'm going to love and cherish for years on end. I really love this movie. I told y'all that I was dropping this next day, gang. So if you haven't already, check out my Tanya the Evil series video. It'll probably be on your top right now, or not. It's completely up to you. But regardless, pull up a chair, let's chop it up. Today we're going to be talking about Tanya the Evil, the movie, aka bigger war crime simulator. But before we get into it, as always, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for more anime analysis and review videos just like this one. Also hit the notification bell to get future updates for future uploads. So, you know how we do things right here. First, we start off with the story. The story of this movie is really simple, but it's still great. It's a continuation that picks up right where season 1 leaves off. Tanya's story continues after they fail to fully win the war, and to put it simply, they're just carrying out missions, and Tanya is still trying to work towards getting that deployment to a rear unit to her peaceful life. There's a lot of good-ass moments in this movie, and I definitely would be tweaking if I ain't highlight a few of them. The disrespect that went down at Moscow's capital was magnificent. Go ahead and run this from the beginning. Tanya and her platoon are basically attacking the Federation's capital to distract them and make them pull from their main forces to give the Imperial Army an advantage on the front lines. So, they pulled up, and they did what 203 does best and got to blowing shit up and causing a bunch of commotion. The regular Douglas shit, right? So Tanya was talking to Victoria. She was like, hey gang, I looked a little bit into your background and I heard you got a real reason to hate these niggas. So we're gonna do something real special for you. Them niggas unlocked the side quest. Them niggas went to go grab AZ Production, G-Nox Films, and Cole Bennett and start shooting a music video while singing their national anthem and planting the Imperial flag at the top of their capital. Bro, that is wild as hell. Imagine if your ops smoked your OG and went to her house and shot a video to them bopping to a song dissing her ass and showed it to you. Like, this is pretty much what they did. One of the higher ups was like, yeah, I'm not gonna cap to y'all for. I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is the distraction was perfect and it was exactly what we needed. The bad news is 203 bitched them niggas so bad that we probably can't send no peace treaty for about 10 years. They even had the help of the United States and they still got shit on. Like, that's embarrassing, gangsta. I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of 203, these niggas are gross. I thought that Tanya was kind of carrying all the weight and they weren't really pulling their weight like that, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I ain't know these niggas was built like this. Bro, they faced 10 companies and won. Let me help you out, put it into perspective. So, I looked it up. One company can be anywhere between 100 and 250 men. And there was a lot of niggas pulling up. So we're gonna be generous, but not too generous, and say 200 each company. We're not even gonna use the full 250. That is 2,000 soldiers, plus the bombers and the platoon of air majors from the United States. That's a lot of resources, right? So I think the Imperial Army had 2 companies. So let's say that's 400, and it could be less because they definitely lost men, and that's the reason they called them to begin with, plus the 48 from the 203 battalion. So solely because of Tanya and 203, they managed to have 428 niggas beat 2,000 plus niggas, and they had a super nigga on their side and Mary. That shit don't make no sense, gang. And they was doing whatever they want, bro. One of them niggas used his bayonet to cut a whole ass wing off one of the bombers, gang. 203 is gross. Speaking of Mary, let's talk about the battle between her and Tanya. Gang, this shit was spectacular. Mary really a monster. I don't know what's coming out of folks' gun, but I know Tanya didn't want to get hit with them bitches. I know that for sure. I mean, look at this. She shooting Bomber DXs out that bitch. She shooting Raccoon racist guns out that bitch. She shooting Final Smashes out that bitch. She shooting Eminem diss tracks out that bitch. And she was shooting them shits pretty fast. Mary really put a switch on that Hergen-Durgen Yom Skippity ass gun. She was shooting anime verse enders out that hole. Like, that shit is crazy. The fight was crazy though. Shit was mad beautiful. And it was a close one. She made Tanya ass pray, but she lost in the end, but Tanya fumbled and didn't get the kill. And Aubrey Drake came in to come in for the save. I'm not gonna lie. I know Tanya don't like God. I know she don't believe in God. But knowing that beast Mary's still out there, I'd grab a Bible, a Quran, a baptism pool, 3 elbow fat ushers, a deacon with heavily starched pants, and a holy water producing sweet coon. I'm getting real religious in this motherfucker knowing that she out here. They really did Tanya ass dirty at the end. She thought she was gonna come home. She thought she was home free, and she was just chilling at her rear unit deployment. Then folks called her ass and said, "Oh yeah, bro, good news. You getting your own mixed combat unit on the front line." Toodles. Hung up on her silly ass. That's tough, but honestly, I want to see how this unit turns out, because 203 is gross. So imagine what she could do with an entire unit. The Imperial is about to be even more of a problem. This movie story was great, gang, and I'm really hyped for season 2 whenever that's dropping. Great job on the story of this. All right, let's move on to characters and character interactions. All of our mainstays are back, and we even got a new character in Mary. So I want to talk about her and Tanya, because Tanya got a little bit of development in this movie. Mary is cool. Her ass a little slow and disobedient, but I'm not gonna argue with a nigga that can make that come out her rifle, so I'm just gonna let her do her. Her revenge story was actually pretty cool. She's really emotional on the battlefield. I think that's gonna get her killed in the future, but hey, it is what it is. We actually learned a little bit more about Tanya in this movie. We actually learned that she don't like war at all, which is crazy because she seemed like she had a grand dilly-dally old time setting up her comrades to get killed by that artillery strike. But in all seriousness, I think she dead ass tired of war. She views the period after victory just as a preparation stage for the next one. That's some pretty deep shit, because that's damn near how it could be in real life. So it was cool to see her perspective on this after all this, and her little monologue at the end was really cool. They did a great job of giving us our favorites and introducing Mary. I can't wait to see them in the next season. Now let's move on to looks, presentation, and music. I think the anime has really stepped it up. I mean, really, Nut was all over. my, my bad, folks. But not that ass. They made these fights beautiful. That Tanya versus Mary fight was gorgeous, man. I was shocked watching. Nut was really in your face. My bad, folks. My bad. I'll stop. Nut was really in your face with the over-the-top action, and they really did a great job on this movie. I am very impressed. The music is still great. It's really epic and grand with a bunch of choir in it, which always helps these battles feel much bigger than they actually are. So good job on the music in this movie. Overall, this movie did what it was supposed to do plus more. It gave us a great amount of epic battles. It furthered the storyline and updated us on the status and the main goals of the series. And it gave us more funny and messed up shit to laugh at, and I loved it. And I can't wait for the second season of this shit to come out, I'm not gonna lie. If you watched the series already and you enjoyed it, and no, not you complaining ass niggas, the niggas that actually enjoyed this, you need to watch this ASAP. This is a great movie. And if you haven't watched Tanya the Evil, the series, it's really good. And you need to watch this movie, so you have to watch that first. But that's all for me, man. As always, man, y'all have a great day. Love y'all, man.